Good evening, everyone. Please, can you confirm I'm audible enough?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, thank you for the introduction. Thank you for having me. My name is Prince Ogbonna. I am a senior data analyst at Omnibiz Africa in Lagos. I'm also a founder of Data Academy, where I basically transfer my experience, industry experience, to aspiring data analysts. So today, we are going to basically discuss on how you can start your data career and sustain it. So that sustaining it is a major aspect that could prove difficult, right? So I'm going to share my experience, my own struggles as well over the years as I got into the industry. So I have a slide I'm going to share. Just give a minute. Let me get my slide. So basically, it's going to be an interactive section, right? At the end of the presentation, you can ask me your questions, or if you have any doubts, you can ask me. I will help you to clarify it. So when I was invited to speak here, it was a topic that I know is very, very critical, especially for people that want to dive into data analytics. So please, can you confirm that my screen is visible and you are seeing a slide?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to be talking about from starting to sustaining your data journey. We'll be talking about practical guide for beginners and intermediates on skill building, AI age, relevance, consistency, and career positioning. So these are the things we're going to talk about. Start, sustain, and then make impact. So at the end of this session, you're going to leave with a clear roadmap you can act on immediately, right? And I'm going to do my best to use my own personal experience to just simplify some of the this thing for you. All right, so what we will be understanding today is why data analytics matters now. Why now, right? And then how AI changes the game. All of us knows that AI is doing a lot of things, disrupting industries, and how do you position for it? How do you make sure that AI does not replace you, right? So then where you can start as a beginner, how to sustain that momentum, and then how to position yourself or your assets, CV, portfolio, LinkedIn, if you're interested in freelancing, Upwork, or interviews, and then communicating your skills, right? So we're going to go through all this in the next few minutes. So an important note that you need to take here is you do not need to know everything before you start. You need the right sequence and support system. Some of us, when we started, we thought that we need to know this, know this, know this. No, that is not how it works, right? You need to start from the scratch, right? You don't need to know everything. You don't even need a technical background, but we're getting there, right? We're getting there in this presentation. Please confirm that you can still hear me and we are going together. Am I still audible, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with talking about the AI age and why positioning with AI is very, very important, right? So why data analytics matters in the age of AI, right? So we know what AI can do these days, ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini, and the rest of them. They are changing a lot of things in the industry, right? So, but we still need people who understand data, business questions, and context and decision making. So before we get into where you can start, right, in your journey on data analytics, I would like to take my time to explain, because in my experience so far, even with the people I mentor at Data Academy, somebody will come to me and say, okay, I want to learn data analytics, but I'm afraid that AI could replace me tomorrow, right? So I've answered that questions uh, again and again, right? And I want to start from there, because AI movement is a serious case for many people, right? So that's why I'm taking time to handle this first, and then we go with where you can start from, right? So before you talk about AI and what AI can do, just remember that businesses out there, all the companies out there that are looking for people to hire, they run on data, right? As you can see on my screen, sales, customers, operations, finance, products, marketing, strategy, all depend on data signals. And these data signals contain context, right? Context in the sense that, for instance, if you run an e-commerce company, you understand the context of running an e-commerce company in Nigeria, right? Which ChatGPT may not understand. Do you get? So contextually, you are smarter. You understand the system better, right? So then, what AI is going to help you to do is AI needs direction, right? In the second point here, AI can generate, summarize, and automate, but poor questions and messy data lead to poor answers, right? If you don't understand that data, those data signals, right, that you generate from doing business in Nigeria, if you don't understand it and you give it to AI, AI will give you nonsense as well. AI will give you something that does not make sense. So you see, AI is already depending on your own experience. AI is already depending on what you can do to give you what you want, right? So decision need humans. So the next one, managers need people who can validate insight and explain what action to take. From my own experience, I I use AI, yeah, on daily basis. I use AI, right? And what I basically use AI for is, okay, I understand the context, I know what I want to do, and I know the foundation, I know the end goal, right? And then I know how to design going from A to B, right? Now AI is going to be at the middle between A and B. Do you get? So I have designed it. I'll give it to AI to do, maybe to give me SQL query, or to give me Python query, or to give me uh, any generated content I need, right? But I must first of all design it, the foundation. Do you get? So that is where AI can help you. AI cannot help you if you don't understand the context, right? So, like I said, the data analytics is the bridge between raw information, AI assistance, and business decisions, right? So let's go to the next. How did analytics and AI intersect, right? Think of analytics as a thinking system and AI as the acceleration layer. So let me talk about this. Since AI came out, since ChatGPT came out in 2020, I think 2022, yeah, 2022, it has helped people like us to improve our productivity. Like for instance, if before now I write maybe 20 lines of queries in SQL, now daily I can write 100 lines without stress, right? So it helps you to skyrocket, to accelerate your productivity. That is where AI helps you, right? So if you look at my screen, you find out here, data analytics, find patterns, ask questions, clean data, build dashboard, and explain insight. Then where AI comes in is summarize, draft, generate, classify, automate, and help you explore faster. Yeah, this is where AI comes in, right? So after AI, you again, right? Where they meet, you define the question, validate the result, turn output into responsible action. Like I said earlier, if you run business in Nigeria, right, you understand the domain context, right? Where you, if you're into art, if you're into buying and selling retail business, right, you already know what your business is all about. AI cannot tell you what your business is all about. It's left for you to understand it, right? So once you know that basic, you will now be able to give AI a proper question that it will help you to give you an output which you must validate as well. So that is where AI comes in. So AI is not coming to replace you as an analyst, as a data analyst. No, AI is not coming to replace you. AI can replace some other career paths, right? But it's very, very difficult for AI to replace a data analyst or a data scientist because it's domain specific. It's not a general knowledge that you go to Google and Google about your business. Google cannot give you your business context in your localized area, right? So, so AI does not remove the need for analytics. It rewards people who know how to think with data, right? It rewards you if you know how to think with data. So that is where AI comes in. Then in the next one, employers need people who speak the language of AI. Okay, I think let me share an experience here. Last year, I think beginning of last year, I had the opportunity to interview with my team at Omnibiz Africa. So in the process, one of my colleague asked one of the interviewees there that came for the interview, asked him, "Do you know how to use AI to answer questions, or do you know how to use AI to do analysis?" And the guy was like, "No, I don't use AI." And that was where he failed. Why did he fail? Because if at this age you say that you don't use AI, uh, nobody's going to take you serious, right? Because work that took 5 hours to do in 2020 should not take 5 hours now in this present day, right? So you must know how to use AI strategically, but AI cannot think for you. If you want AI to think for you, AI is going to give you nonsense, right? So you must know that people who want to hire you as a data analyst expect that you know how to deploy AI, use AI to accelerate your work, right? So it means that you can combine business context, data logic, and AI assisted execution. So this is where AI comes in. Is not coming to replace you, right? I want to clear this fear, right? I want to clear this fear so that if you want to go into data analytics today or tomorrow, then you know that you're going into the right path, right? Then if you look at some of the points I highlighted here, translate business problems, turn vague needs into clear data questions. This is you because you understand your business. Then prepare clean data, know what quality, missing values, and structure mean. Prompt with context. Yeah, this prompting with context means that you understand the context, you know the meaning, and then you know the end result you want. So now for you to tell AI, prompt is just writing, typing something, that is prompting, right? You go to ChatGPT, type something, and ChatGPT responds. So that is prompting. So before you prompt, you must have a context so that ChatGPT will understand what you want, right? Then once ChatGPT gives you validate output, you need to validate it. You can't trust AI blindly. No, you would have to validate what it gives you and understand what it gives you. You cannot pull, for instance, if you have if you want to develop a report in SQL and you use ChatGPT, now you carry everything at once. without verifying it and then push into production. No, it's not going to work. You would have to validate it, that the logic applied by the AI is correct syntactically and semantically, right? So then you are going to explain the decisions. AI cannot explain it for you, right? Right. So you see that there are places AI comes in and places it cannot interfere with, right? So job security grows when you can use AI intelligently while still owning the reasoning. So it's as simple as that. You must own the context, the reasoning. Then AI will help you to accelerate to where you're going to. So let's talk about start with the work, not the tools. Let's talk about where a typical beginner could start from to learn data analytics. I will start this way, right? Every goal, every am I still audible, please? Can you confirm?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay, thank you. All right. So let me start this way, right? If you are learning data analytics, I think personally I made the mistake when I was starting. That was back in 2017 when I was starting my journey in data analytics. I made this mistake of thinking that the end goal is to know how to write SQL queries, is to know how to write Python code, right? That is not the end goal, right? Before you start learning in any platform, for instance, if you go to Udemy, if you go to um, Coursera or Audacity or whichever platform you want to learn at, you will need, before you start learning, right? You will need to understand the business context where that learning is applied. It is even more important than understanding the syntax or the semantics of the programming language you want to learn or the data analytics tool you want to learn, right? It's more important. Why? Because if you if you learn the code, for instance, if you go to SQL and start typing, select this, do this, right? You are just mastering syntax. You don't know where it is applied, right? So that is why it is very, very important. Business reasoning is the first thing you need to understand before you start writing the first line of query, right? Because how you start is going to determine a lot of things on how far you go. It's not about gathering the syntax, it's not about gathering the understanding all the functions in a particular tool you want to learn, right? If you want to get into the industry, if you want to get it right, you must think business first, right? And I apply this a lot in my own program as well. You must think business first before you talk about the syntax, writing the first line of query or the first line of code, right? So the business question, what problem are we trying to solve? Yeah. The problem we're trying to solve, for instance, if you learn on I remember when I learned data analysis with Python in Audacity, that time they used this sample data from Twitter. Um, we rate dog something something. At that time, I did not take time to understand actually what the context where we're going to. Do you get? What I was interested in is let me understand, let me do the technical aspect, right? Write the code, get an output, right? At the end of the day, you will find out that after learning, you can't communicate what you learned. You can only talk about Python. You can only talk about Python syntax. You can't explain your insight, right? It's very important that before you start, right, that you start with thinking business first. You are not learning it for fun or to use it and play. You are learning it so that tomorrow you get into the industry and use it, right? So data analytics is not just software or technical prowess. It is a way to answer business questions with evidence. Know this first. I want to learn data analysis. Okay, no problem. But it's just the tool you want to learn is just a tool, right? But then what do you want to achieve with it? Is very important. Then data evidence. What information can help us to decide? So from even before you write your first query or your first code or so, right? You first of all answer the business question. Then what kind of data can help you to answer those questions? After that, if you say, okay, if you say what kind of data or where can I source it? Do you get? And then you go to analysis, what patterns, risk, or changes do we see? Do you get? Then decision, what should the business do next? So you should, if you want to learn, right, you learn with an end goal, not just to master all the functions in a particular data analysis tool, right? Learn every tool as a method for solving business questions, not as a list of buttons. There are a few persons I started learning data analysis with in 2017. Right? They know Python, they know Java, they know Ruby, they know, name it, all the data analytics, this and that, all of them. But then if you talk about the business application of all those, they will not be able to explain, right? So please, it's very important, it's very critical. It might seem like basic, right? But that is where the impact begins. Because if you don't understand the business context before you start learning, right? After learning, you will not be able to document it. You will not be able to communicate it. You will not be able to talk about it. You'll not be able to recommend anything, right? So going forward, then pick one entry door first. It's important when you want to learn data analysis that you pick somewhere and start from. This is not one size fits all, right? This is an example of where you could start from, right? It's an example of where you could start from. Reporting analysis, right? You could say building recurring reports, track KPIs, and explain performance. Then the focus could be on Excel, Google Sheets, and then plus KPI thinking, right? So a beginner gets faster result by choosing a focus part before adding advanced tools. Yes, you start from small, right? If you want to be a reporting analyst, you can start with Excel. If you want to be a BI analyst, BI analyst is business intelligence analyst, you can start with Power BI and then storytelling. That's where you talk about building dashboard on Power BI, translate data into business visibility. Then you could say, okay, I want to be a data analyst, right? You clean, query, analyze, communicate inside from data sets, right? Then the focus could be SQL and analysis logic, right? So, but then let me talk about it in the Nigerian context. In the Nigerian context, reporting analysts, BI analysts, data analysts, there's no difference. When I started my own journey newly in the industry, I was a reporting analyst, I was a BI analyst, I was a data analyst because all of them is mixed up together. Especially when you work in a startup. Excuse me. Um, Especially when you work in a startup, because you'll be the one doing everything from checking on Excel how the data looks to building dashboard on Power BI to using SQL to understand what is happening in the database. So all of them will be on you, right? But you would have to start from somewhere. Okay, start narrow, build confidence, and then expand. And again, there is always something I advise. The starting point from where you start from. Don't start with um programming language like Python to learn data analysis, right? If you start from there, your journey is going to be long. It's going to take a lot of time to scale it. It will be very, very difficult to scale if you start with Python or Java. You can use Java for data analysis, but that one is advanced. But many of the times the hypes and the trends we see online, we see it as okay. Let's start with Java. Let's start with Python, and we jump head on. Right. At the end of the day, after 12 months, you've not achieved much with it. Right. So, and then you study the industry in Nigeria, which tool is mostly used in Nigeria, which tool is mostly used, SQL, Power BI, and then Excel. Right. These are the tools that is prominent here in the industry. Okay, going to the next. The beginner skill stack. You do not need everything in one day. Just build the stack layer by layer. Right. Business thinking, number one, as I explained earlier. Before you start learning any tool, that is why actually many programs out there is too abstract, and they don't start with business listening first. They just start with telling you how to write hello world in Python or in SQL, right? But it doesn't help if you want to bring it home to the industry application. Then data handling. Do you understand what rows is? Do you understand what columns is? Do you understand what cleaning, missing values, quality checks? Do you understand all those, right? So the third one is SQL plus spreadsheets. Retrieve, transform, summarize, validate record. You get. So these are the small steps you can start from. Business thinking, data handling, SQL, and then spreadsheets, then visualization and BI. That is Power BI, W, Click, Cognos Analytics. That is for IBM. So dashboard, chart, storytelling, report design, then communication. This communication is very important. We'll still get there where we talk about how to position yourself in the digital world. It's quite complicated, and because data analytics is technical, most times many of us that do data analytics, we don't know how to communicate, and it complicates our journey because it's not about writing the code or doing the analysis. It's how can you communicate it, how can you present it, so that whoever want to hire you is going to understand that yes, this guy has a skill, right? So we're going to talk about that in the slides forward. So AI literacy sits around the stack. Use AI to learn faster, document better, and test ideas, but do not skip the logic, right? Still on how you can fuse AI into your learning journey is very important. Today, to learn is easy because of AI. To master anything now is easy because of AI, right? So it makes it faster. So going to the next, okay, a simple learning roadmap of the foundation, right? So turn learning into practice, then practice into portfolio evidence. I'm very particular about portfolio evidence because data analytics is not like it's not marketing. It's not like sales. You can come out and say that you know marketing, and people will believe you based on how you talk, right? And how you're able to explain things, right? But data analytics, you must show evidence that you know this in way you said you know, right? So that is why I'm very, very particular. We're heading down this slide where I talked about those digital assets, how you can position yourself better. So then the next, the foundation, understand the rules, business questions, data set, KPIs, and basic analysis, right? Then core tools, practice SQL or Power BI foundation through guided task. It's very important through the guided task. Guided task in the sense that the task has an end goal, and somebody is helping you to review, giving you feedback, guiding you. Maybe somebody who is in the industry already, who understand what you want to achieve. Then project, very important. Project, very important. Is the project that makes up your portfolio evidence. So we're getting there. Then career assets, your CV, your LinkedIn, your portfolio websites, interview stories, and application routine. So we're going to also talk about that going down. Do not wait until you know everything before building. Build while learning. Yeah, this statement is pointing at don't go and learn things and throw it away, right? Document every single thing if you want your journey to be faster. It's not easy to document. In fact, documentation is more difficult than writing the code. That's the truth. Many a times for us, technical people, right? We're not that patient with writing all this English and trying to present it, right? But it's a critical aspect of your work. As a data analyst, you're a storyteller. You know how to tell stories, you know how to document ideas, you know how to record things, right? So it's very, very important. So as you're learning, those days when I started newly, before I was guided properly, I would just write maybe Python code. It's nowhere to be found. It's just on my system. I did not document it on GitHub or any portfolio website. It's not even on my CV. I did not even have a CV when I was learning, right? So you just if you are learning, right, it must be guided. It must be with an end goal so that you don't tinker around, have projects scattered here and there, right? So okay, so to the next, the weekly consistency system. Yeah, this helped me when I was learning my own, when I was getting started. In a week, I can say, okay, this is the things I want to do. Consistency becomes easier when your learning week has a simple rhyme, right? So learn, practice, apply, review, share. This is, for instance, many of us are active on social media. Social media is your superpower. If you are learning, that's the truth. It's your superpower. That simple thing you think is very small that you cannot share, that you cannot talk about. Somebody somewhere is looking for somebody who knows how to do it, right? So as you are learning, you are practicing, you are applying, right? And then you share it too on your LinkedIn, on your portfolio website, on your CV, on social media. Talk about it, even on Facebook. Talk about it, right? It helps you. It helps you, and it gives you that visibility early. Because if you say today that you're a data analyst, and I come to LinkedIn and I don't see any post on you on your page about data analysis, do you think I will trust you? I cannot trust you, right? And I don't see anything about data analysis in your page, or you've never said anything at all, right? So it's very, very important. So as you learn, you practice, you apply, you review, and then share. Then this review stage, this fourth stage, is very important, right? Um, you can review it. Somebody else can also help you to review it, to fix the errors, and then you document the note. This documentation is the lifeline of your career as a data analyst. It's a lifeline. When I say lifeline, I'm very serious, right? Because what you cannot document, you can never track and you can never communicate, right? So the secret is not motivation. The secret is a system that makes progress visible every week. Motivation comes and goes, right? You might even lose track, right? But if you have a system that makes the little thing you do, even if it is this the most minute aspect of learning that you did, but you're able to see somewhere that you recorded that you did this, right? It's going to help you once you open that book or you open that file where you recorded what you did the previous day. It's a psychological thing, right? Small steps, it compounds over time, and then before you know it, you've gone far. All right. So the next one, what slows beginners down? Right, tutorial hopping. Let me talk about this. Um, in my own experience, YouTube videos almost swallowed me, right? So, and I must say it so that when you talk about sometimes when you talk about guided learning, some people will tell you, "Oh, it's not necessary. Just go to YouTube Go and follow Mr. Alex. Go and go to his page. Learn it. It's free of charge there, right? When you go to Mr. Alex's page, you will see a video, 3 hours. One video, 3 hours. Before you finish it. So, right. So, tutorial hopping is a problem. You need to learn um within a community. You need to learn where others are learning too. You need to you need to um you need to see people who have the same challenge as you, right? It motivates you in the long run. It motivates you. Then two, overload. Don't go and learn. You are learning Excel. You are learning Power BI. You are learning Python. You are learning SQL. You learn everything in one go. Please don't do that. It's not going to help you. You're going to spread yourself too thin, and then at the end of the day, you'll not be able to achieve much, right? So just take it step by step. Then you need help actually. If you don't get feedback, maybe from somebody who has done this in the industry, it's going to be hard, and your journey is going to be longer. If you want to get there faster, you need to stand on shoulder of someone who has passed through that stage instead of doing it alone. Yes, majority of what we do today is people will learn on their own, right? And it's good, it's fine. But if you learn with mentorship, I learned with mentorship at a time. After I find out that learning alone will not help me, I got a mentor. That was when I got into data science Nigeria, and I started growing in that community. So you need feedback. You need to see people who are also learning. It helps so that not be only you they see this thing, right? So and it is that is what it is, right? And also at Data It as well, we also do this. We give you a community where you also learn with others, right? So then no proof, document projects, insights, and screenshots. Um this is about your portfolio website, right? Your project portfolios. You must document. You must document. You don't write query that you cannot document. It's better you don't write it. If you say you write it today and document it tomorrow, you will not. You won't document. I'm telling you from experience, you won't document it. It's very, very difficult. Then learning alone. Um, Learning alone, it works for some people, but I think the percentage of people it works for are very few. Yeah, you could go somewhere and um maybe see a program you enroll, you do it on your own, right? It's not easy to learn alone. You need a learning system or a community that protects momentum, that helps you to build momentum. Yeah, you are learning, but you see community people around you are helping you to learn. That is the only way you can sustain it, your growth, right? So going on to the next, then sustaining through digital asset positioning. So I'm going to let me talk about this. If you are learning and you're not documenting it, it's as good as not learning at all, right? I'll give an instance with my programs at Data Academy. I know how difficult it is for people, right, to do all these things. So that is why we go extra mile to make sure that as you are learning, you're also documenting it, right? And we are helping you with several other things that you must be aware of before you finish your learning phase, right? So your career story, summarize skills, tools, projects, and measurable impact. Then portfolio websites, very important. I've talked about this. Then LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a place for professionals. All recruiters go to LinkedIn to look for you. So know that they'll go there, they look for you, they look you up, they search for you. And then Upwork. Why I added Upwork is because Upwork was one of the tools that helped me to keep afloat. I will explain why. When you're learning, sometimes you 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 lose momentum. Why? Because you are not earning immediately out of it. So many of the times, for me personally, in my own personal journey, I go to Upwork. I try out freelancing on Upwork, right? From there, if you know how to document, right, Upwork will reward you. Why? Because the people, the people who want to hire you there, they're not like Nigerian recruiters, right? They're once they see that you know how, once they see a sample of what you've done before, they can easily trust you. Do you get? Even though it's highly competitive, right? But if you do the basic and do it well, you will see something. You will see someone messaging you, even when you don't send people proposals, even when you don't compete to send proposals for gigs, you randomly see somebody messaging you. Oh, hi, I saw this dashboard on your profile on Upwork, and I see I want something like that, right? You'll be surprised. You'll be like, oh wow. So this dashboard I documented, I gave the outline. So somebody is interested, somebody needs something similar to that, right? So Upwork is very, very important as well. So position is not showing off. For many of us who think that when you talk about what you do or your capacity or capabilities, that your village people will come after you. No, your village people don't know where you are. So they're not even on LinkedIn, right? So don't think it like that. And don't think that when you post something that somebody must react to it. No. The people who need your services may never react to your post. That's the truth. The people, if you go to Facebook, if you go to LinkedIn, even on Twitter, right? And you are talking, maybe nobody's reacting to you. You think people are not seeing it? People are seeing it. People are seeing it. One day, somebody will ask you, "What about this? Do you know how to do this well? Can you do this for me?" Right? So feel free to make it public, right? It's not showing off. It's not showing off. Keeping quiet, I've never seen where keeping quiet about your skills and capabilities rewards anybody. I've never seen somebody who learns something, keep it to himself, and then tomorrow suddenly he's working at Chevron, right? So you must be able to share it. You must be able to communicate it so that people know that this is what you can do. So it is helping the right people understand what you can do, right? So it's not showing off, it's helping the right people to know that this is what you are up to, right? So that is basically that. Then build a CV and LinkedIn that tell the right story. CV optimization and LinkedIn optimization is very important, right? It's very, very important. Um, you don't have to have a CV that is 3 page. Worst come to worst, it should be 2 page. But optimized CVs is 1 page. And that 1 page will be able to communicate your skills, will be able to communicate your project, will be able to communicate your experience, right? I've been in a position in my current workplace where I interviewed people and where I screen CVs. Honestly, there's no time to look at 3 page CV, to look at LinkedIn that is not well arranged. Do you get? Because there are many CVs to review, right? So your profile should not only list tools; it should show problems you can solve. What is that thing you solved while learning maybe a particular tool? What is the problem you solved? Okay, you analyze this. What is the outcome? What is the insight? What happened? What is the next step? Right? So this is going to help you to communicate it properly. Then uh, project evidence and the rest of them. Beginner tips, write like someone solving business problem, not just learning tools. That is the thing I've been saying, right? You must learn how to communicate the problems you solve, not how you write SQL queries, not how you write Python code, right? It's problems that people um want to see you solve. When I got into the industry newly, I thought it's about um how you're able to write functions, and you did some powerful things, technical powerful things. Top executives don't care. They don't care about how you arrive at a particular output. Just give them the output, explain it to them. You They will give you a project to do for 2 weeks, but you will have 5 minutes to present it, right? 2 weeks project, you did it for 2 weeks, sometimes 1 month, sometimes 2 months. But then what determines whether that thing you did for 2 months is a success is 5 minutes of presentation of the problem you solved and the outcome you arrived at. So they don't want to know about your SQL query. Is what problem have you solved with that query you wrote? You get. So, like I wrote down here, recruiters can fast, make your relevance obvious in the first 10 seconds. It's very important. It's very, very important, especially in interviews, right? If you cannot communicate what you can do in the first 10 seconds, you've lost it, right? So that is the communication. And many of the time, we that are technical, we find it very, very difficult to communicate. I've had experience with people coming from non-technical background, people from marketing, people from sales. They do better than people. Maybe somebody's have been doing software engineering and he wants to do data analysis. And then I've trained people like that in Data Analyst Academy. He's coming from software engineering background. This one is coming from marketing. So they're coming from sales. You find out that people from marketing and sales are doing better than someone who is coming from software engineering, maybe from JavaScript, from all those tools they use, right? Why? Because people from marketing knows how to express themselves. They know how to talk. People from sales, people from operations, they know how to talk about what they did. But a technical guy coming from software engineering background is only interested in the code, right? So so that is it. In the first 10 seconds is a chance to make that impression. So once somebody lands on your CV, first 10 seconds is enough to communicate. On your LinkedIn, first 10 seconds. Then on your project, the first project should be attractive enough and elaborate for somebody to go there and see. Okay, so going to the next, your preferred website and Upwork profile. So I think I've talked about this a lot. Then how to convert projects into trust. Uh, to convert projects into trust means that you did this project. What did you achieve? What is the outcome? What problem did you solve? When you solve problem, people will trust you. But people will never trust you if you only talk about how you write SQL query. Nobody cares about SQL query that is not solving any problem, right? So use digital assets to show how you think, build and communicate value. Portfolio website, Upwork, and case study format. In my LinkedIn page, I connected my Upwork to my LinkedIn page. So before I started working with the current company I work with, somebody who after I pushed my application, the recruiter, that is HR, went to my LinkedIn, and then from my LinkedIn he went to my Upwork. I never knew that somebody would be interested on checking out my Upwork. Somebody who wants to employ me in Nigeria is interested in knowing what I'm doing on Upwork. And surprisingly, what I did on Upwork was impress the person, and he was like, "Okay, I like some of the things you did on Upwork. Is let's discuss about the problems you can solve." Right? You never can tell which of your digital assets is going to impress somebody. It could be your CV, could be your portfolio website, it could be your Upwork, could be your LinkedIn profile, how you set it up. It could be even on Facebook, right? So people are everywhere. Okay, so the next do not learn technical skills and forget the soft skills that sells them. Yeah, I've been talking on this. I've been talking on this. Um, Interview reward clear thinking, confidence, and communication. Right. So, there are frameworks you could use when you want to talk about the problem you solved. There's the STAR method: the situation, task, action, result. The situation is what is the problem. The task is what you did. Then the action is what should be the next step. Then the result is what is the outcome after the next step, right? So use this on interview stories and project explanation. So you can check it out more. Maybe after now you can Google it and understand better about. There's another one as well, the care method. This care method is context analysis, recommendation, and evidence, right? So the context is still boils down to business problem you want to solve. The analysis is what you did, how you broke it down. The recommendation is what are you recommending after your analysis. Then the evidence is what is backing up this recommendation that you're making. Then ask good questions, clarify the business problem before jumping into tools. Again, asking questions is very, very important. If you're a data analyst, you must learn how to ask questions. Sometimes it seems like stupid questions, anyways, but the more you ask questions, the more clarity you have. Do you get? But this one is more applicable when you get into the industry, but it's also applicable when you are learning, right? So applicable when you're learning because you ask question, you need to ask question for clarity. You need to ask questions. Then do not fear the unknown. Um, Sometimes the fear of what could come next stops us from doing the necessary things, right? So industry reward learners who can figure things out and communicate progress. The truth is, in my experience so far, I've done things that I never had experience doing before. You just have to be bold. You just have to be confident that you can figure it out, right? I have been given projects in maybe at work that I have not done anything like that before. But I summon the courage. Yes, I'll figure it out. And once you see that, once you take the first step, you will see yourself taking the second step. Before the third step and fourth step, you must have analyzed the situation and you understand the what comes after, right? So you just need to keep going, even when you don't know what the outcome could be like, right? So technical skills get you into the room. Communication helps people trust your value, right? Technical skills could get you into the room, yeah, but how you communicate, how you present, make people to trust you. So as a data analyst, you are not just someone who has technical skills. You're also a storyteller as well, right? So that is it for this. Then the next step is start small, stay visible, keep building, right? This keep building is what I mean there is the learning never stops, never ends. As I'm talking to you, I'm still doing some advanced programs in data analytics, right? So it never stops. You must keep learning. You must have that mind that you are not at the end of the tunnel or the end of the journey. It's an endless journey that you keep learning, especially at this age where technology is advancing faster than whatever, right? So just choose one part, build one project, publish the projects, get feedback, apply and improve. Improve is continuously keep going. All right, so I think that is it. And another thing I would like you to also know, I think where I said do not fear the unknown is um this happens sometimes during interviews, right? I will Let me use this illustration to give this instance. Getting into the industry, when you want to get into the industry, right? You may think that you're desperate, hmm? Right? But most times you are not more desperate than the employer. I will explain to you. Last year, beginning of last year, I got into the senior role, the senior data analyst role at Omnibiz Africa. So, but before I moved to senior role, I was mandated to hire somebody who is going to lead the team that I was leading, right? So we were looking out for persons internally in the team. We were a team of 7. So we're looking out internally and we are looking out externally, right? For me personally, now the ball is at my court to hire somebody. If I can't hire somebody to replace me, for me to advance, I cannot move ahead, right? So I was more desperate than people who were applying for that role. Do you get? So sometimes you get into an interview and you are scared of talking, or you don't know what to say because of tension and pressure. The person who is interviewing you might be under more pressure than you, right? So you just need to understand that you many of the times your skill, people are begging to deploy your skill. People are begging to hire you. That's a fact. Until I hire somebody who took over the business intelligence and customer analytics team in Omnibiz, right? Until I hire somebody, that was the only time I moved ahead. So if I had not hired somebody, then I wouldn't move to another role. And then eventually the person that got hired to replace me before I moved ahead was one shy guy like that. I will not I won't name him, right, for privacy purposes. It's one shy guy like that. And how I got to know that the guy is good is it was not through interview because he was shivering. So I went to his LinkedIn. I saw how even his CV was attached to his LinkedIn. Everything, portfolio website was on his LinkedIn. Everything was there. So it was from his LinkedIn that I got to know that this guy is good. So somebody who did not perform well in interview because of the presentation difficulties was actually the best candidate. Why did I go such length to find out that this guy is good? Because I was desperate, right? Because I need it. I need somebody who is competent enough badly, more than the people applying. So many of the times you fear and you don't know that the people you think are comfortable, or the people you think have the cards. No, they don't have the card all the time, right? So as you're learning, I want you to do it with confidence, right? With boldness. Whoever you want to interview you is coming for your service, right? You are the one that has the card, not the person who wants to employ you. So if you learn with that mindset and then you do the right thing you're supposed to do, all the processes of learning, you document it, you make sure everything is intact, right? You are good to go. So I think I've come to the end of the presentation. We can take questions. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for paying attention and following through.
Okay, hi, good evening. So before we take questions, I just want to make a presentation to show you guys something. Can I quickly share my screen, please?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so most of you probably have heard of 3TE, and you most likely have seen it on our socials, and be wondering what 3TE is all about. So 3TE 2026 is the Tech Tribe experience. Is organized by Tech Tribe Charitable Foundation, and the idea behind 3TE is so 3TE 2026 is a Lagos Learning Summit for builders, shaping how Africa builds with AI without sacrificing user experience, empathy, and trust. Now, the idea is currently the use of AI in our workflow. It has become something that is part of our day-to-day, activities. And one thing about building products is that your focus on regards as regards building any form of product is towards the users. But the question a lot of people have been asking is, how do we build products that are focused on the users while implementing AI into our workflow? For example, how do I use prompts to create web development? How do I use prompts to create Figma screens? How do I use prompts to create interfaces or slides without while thinking about the users during the process? And that's one of the major questions we're going to be answering during this summit. So it's focused basically for 5 different disciplines, which basically we call it the 5 disciple tracks, one created it for each section. So so if you build, you design, you analyze, or you lead with AI tools, so this room is for you. So as a UX designer, developer, data professionals, product managers, and also enthusiasts in newcomers, those that just trying to break into any of these fields. So we are currently planning to have specialized trainings for each of these, so that topics that will be addressed at these events specifically for each of these tracks. So it's happening in August 2026 in Lagos. Now the waitlist is currently available. The link will be dropped in the chat box, so you can click on the link to join the waitlist. So like I said earlier, it's the 5 tribes, 1 room. So if you notice, you are currently part of the data tribe. We have the UX designer tribe. Shortly we'll be opening the developer tribe, the product manager tribe. So each of these tribes will be represented and topics will be addressed towards each of these tribes. So the foundation itself has multiple tribes within the foundation. This is just the data tribe. We have other tribes. So like I said earlier, we're having specialized conversations targeted for each of the tribe. But for this, we have the data tribe, which is using AI tools in the data stack with Google, holding the line of governance. So we have specialized topics that will be addressed as regards that is related to data professionals using AI in their workflow. So no discipline holds the answer alone. August 22nd, 2026 in Lagos. The waitlist is currently open and you can fill it and join the waitlist, and more details will be shared to you. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you very much for listening. So Prince, you can continue.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for me based on what we discussed? You can ask me. I'm here. I'm going to take it and make sure I answer your questions. I don't think anybody has any question.
Okay, thank you very much, Prince, Ogbonna, for that insightful session. I believe we all understood very clearly. That's why we don't have any questions. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. We are grateful. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity to share my experience.
So I'd like to thank everybody that joined. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And I hope we were able to take home 1 or 2 insights that would help us in our data journey. Thank you, everyone, and good night.